So I don't know. It's hard. It's hard. That's a no for me. The next question is, if you had a choice to go back in person, would you? And that is why I'm driving myself crazy. Hi guys, it's Fernanda. Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be answering some of your questions that you asked me over on Instagram. If you're new here, hi, I'm Fernanda and I'm a first grade teacher in Arizona. I've been documenting my entire teaching journey since my first year teaching. So if you're interested in that, then go ahead and subscribe and I'll have some playlists linked down below. Okay, so like I said, this is going to be a Q&A and I asked you on Instagram like a couple weeks ago to ask me questions and here I am answering them. So first question is, how do you balance a puppy and teaching? So if you don't follow me on Instagram, then you wouldn't know, but I got another puppy. We got a black Shiba Inu puppy and he's super cute. We love Shiba Inus. We already had one. We have a cream one. But back to the question, how do I balance puppy life and teaching? I'm not the only one that's home. It helps that I'm not the only one that's home. So Alex is here and his brother's staying with us as well. So one of us is always available for our puppy and our other dogs. Next question is, what is the biggest challenge you have had during virtual teaching? Virtual teaching was hard when it first started last school year, but I felt like I was able to tackle it in a very effective and efficient way. This time around, I am at a different school and I am in a different district, so everything is brand new. So I feel like the biggest challenge this time around for virtual teaching is not just the virtual teaching itself, but also trying to learn the routines and stuff like that for my new school and for my new district. And even though I'm still teaching first grade, the curriculum is different, so trying to get the hang of that has definitely been difficult. And another thing that's been challenging is probably trying to balance it all. The first couple weeks, maybe 3 weeks, I was very stressed. I was very overwhelmed because I was just always working. But besides those being a really big challenge, I think the next biggest challenge was definitely knowing when to stop working or allowing myself to stop working. If you are teaching virtually, or even hybrid, or even face-to-face, you know that teaching never really stops even when you get home. So I had to learn how to let myself stop working and also know that it's okay to not get everything done. I wasn't going to answer this question. It's from my friend Tyler. I went to college with him. He was in my cohort and he always asks questions and I never answer them on here. He just asks questions of things that say, how is it that you are so awesome or stuff like that, and I know he's like complimenting me, but I don't know how to answer those. So I don't know, Tyler. Next question is, what grade do you prefer to teach? I think she means like between first grade and kindergarten, since those are the grades that I have taught. And I loved kindergarten so much when I taught it. I never thought that first grade could come like super close to kindergarten, but I also really like first grade. So I can't pick one right now. If I have to pick a grade out of all the grades, I'd definitely say first grade and kindergarten. The next question says, how do you share using your iPad and a second screen? I'm not really sure what this means. If you mean like how do I share what I have on my iPad as the second screen, I have a video all about it and I'll link it down below. The next question is how to actively engage students during distance learning, and that is a challenge for sure, especially if you are required to be on Zoom or Google Meet or whatever it is that you're using for long periods of time, especially for little ones. But I have found that adding like a lot of movement, games, incentives, all have really helped. I recently posted a video of a day in my life as a teacher teaching virtually, and you can kind of see there what I'm talking about right now. The next question is, do you create most of your distance learning assignments or do you find them somewhere? And yeah, I create them. And that is why I'm driving myself crazy. I create them using Boom Learning, and if you don't know about Boom Learning, it's a really awesome website where you can create kind of like decks. I don't even know what to call it, but I'll just show you an example of what I've created. This is an example of a Boom card deck that I've created for a math worksheet. So I'm just gonna play it. Usually I try to have a video example kind of explaining what the worksheet will be on. So I kind of recorded a video of myself going through one of the Boom cards. Okay, so for this part, you're gonna do what the directions tell you. For this one, for example, it tells me to cover 6 and then I ask how many more does 6 need to make 8. So first I'm going to use the purple dots to and that's it. So once they watch the video, they click next. Cover 6. How many more does 6 need to make 8? So as you can see, if the kid cannot read the directions, they can play them again if they want to, and then they drag the purple dots. If they were to just do that and try to submit it, it won't let them because they have to do everything. If they were to put the wrong answer, it won't let them. In the report, it can tell you how much time they spent on each card, what questions they got wrong, what was their initial answer, and how many times they played that deck. And you can also purchase them on TBT or just on Boom Learning, looking for a specific kind of skill that you want to practice. But I think it's great for little ones because it provides instant feedback. So for example, these are some of my decks that I've purchased on TBT, and I assigned this L Blends one to my class today, and this is what it looks like. This one does not have voice directions, as you can see, but it's pretty self-explanatory. So if a kid were to put this, it wouldn't let them. Once they have that, it's correct. These are all the ones I've purchased. Sometimes on TBT you can find some for only $1. Another example that's a really good one, these are for sight words. In. And then they build the word, they click all the ins, and submit, and then it takes them to a different sight word. For math, we use Engage New York or Eureka Math. I think it's pretty much the same thing. And it's pretty big on problem set worksheets and exit ticket worksheets. And it has one of each for every single lesson. So when I was thinking of how I was going to approach this with distance learning, I figured out that with distance learning, when we couldn't really send supplies home, I figured that Boom Learning was the way to go, and I started making all my problem sets for Eureka Math and exit tickets on Boom Learning. The next question is how to de-stress during your first year of teaching. I'm only on day 3 and I am exhausted. I can only imagine how hard it is because typically first years of teaching are pretty hard to begin with, but then under these circumstances, I just can't imagine. So basically just take care of yourself first because you can't pour out of an empty cup. Someone else is asking if I like Benchmark. So Benchmark Advanced is a curriculum that we use for ELA. Unit 1 for first grade was not my favorite, but Unit 2 is so much better and I enjoyed it a lot more. We're finishing up Unit 2 on Monday, and it was all about fairy tales and fables, so I really enjoyed that. And then I don't know what the next unit is. One thing about Benchmark Advanced that I'm not a huge fan of is that I feel like it doesn't focus on specific skills. And by that I mean like one day we're learning about verb tenses and the next day we're doing narrative writing and the next day we're doing informational writing. Like I feel like it's very choppy, and I understand that it's a spiral curriculum, but we all know how things ended last school year. So I don't know what they didn't get last year and what they did. So that's what makes it hard. The next question is, what is your self-care routine? I don't have one currently. Typically I would say like going to the gym and blah blah, right? Like that's like that would be the ideal thing to say. But I haven't been very consistent with going to the gym. I didn't go at all this week. I went like 2 times last week. And even though I do feel better after going to the gym, I just kind of been finding it hard to go to the gym because of the mental state that I'm in right now. So yeah, that sounds kind of counterintuitive because like I'm not in the best place mentally right now, but I know that going to the gym would help me, but I'm still not going to the gym. So yeah, I don't really have a self-care routine. I guess like watching TikTok. Watching TikTok brings me so much joy. I don't know why, I just love TikTok. So that's what it is, scrolling on TikTok for like 45 minutes at a time before going to bed. That's my self-care routine. Someone else asked any writing assignments for first graders or lessons. So last year I used to use Tara West's writing curriculum and I loved it. Going into distance learning, we still kind of continued it, but because my kids already had a good writing foundation and we already were used to the routine, we were able to do that. And also we used Seesaw, so we were able to do that. This year, I haven't been able to figure out an efficient way to teach writing because there's just no time for it. We meet for an hour and 15 minutes for a language arts block, and it's so hard to fit everything in, and oftentimes writing is the one that gets cut short, unfortunately. And not only that, but I also haven't figured out how to teach it virtually, and then also provide feedback virtually, and then how to have students turn it in. And the few times that I have done that, I've found that whatever is turned into me is a little too perfect. Like spelling is great, finger spaces are great, punctuation is perfect, grammar is perfect, so it's just kind of hard to do it. And I haven't figured it out. If you're watching and you have a solid writing routine for first grade during distance learning, let us all know in the comments below, because I'm sure we would all love to know. The next question is, if you had a choice to go back in person, would you? I think as long as there were all the necessary safety precautions in place and they were very strict about those precautions being followed, I would be okay with going back. Next question is, would you consider teaching upper grades? Why or why not? Probably not. I just feel like my teaching style is better suited for the younger grades, and I feel like if I had to teach upper grades, I wouldn't really know how. I mean, I do have like a little bit of experience with upper grades. Obviously, like in college, I did practicum in 4th grade, so that's like a little bit older grade. When I used to work for an after-school program, and each staff member had their own class, there was a point where I had 5th and 6th grade, and that was a big class, and that was fine. I enjoyed it. I also taught summer school 1 year, and it was 7th and 8th grade, and I enjoyed it. So I don't know, like I enjoyed it, but I just think, like, again, my teaching style is more suited for the younger grades. So if I had the option, I would just stay with the younger grades. Next question is, do you see yourself going into admin in the future? Sorry, Alex at home and the garage is opening. And being admin just seems like I would have to deal with everything that I don't like dealing with. So that's a no for me. If anything, maybe something like an instructional coach is more appealing to me than being like a principal. Someone else is asking tips for starting at a new school during a pandemic. For example, making relationships, evaluations, and etc. Can't help you there. I don't know. I'm literally at home all the time. I've been at school a few times, met a few staff members a few times, but I kind of already knew them from student teaching. Yeah, I don't know. The only person I have a relationship with is my team member, because that's who I talk to the most. So I don't know. I don't even really know the evaluation process. Like, I'm familiar with it because that's what I did at my old school, but I'm not even in the system yet. And I've been there going on 3 months. So I don't know. It's hard. It's hard. Someone else is asking, how did you know you wanted to become an elementary school teacher? So this is how I knew I wanted to be a teacher. It was the summer of after my senior year of high school, so I had already graduated. I was at the gym in my hometown by the pool, and I ran into a friend who was a year older than me, and we said hi, how are you doing? And I asked her how college was going, because again, she had already 1 year under her belt, and she said good. I asked her what she was studying, and she said elementary education. And as soon as she said that, something clicked in my brain. I don't know why, but it did, and ever since I never looked back. So something just clicked, and that's how I knew. How is distance learning going? I wish I could say that it was going awesome and I'm totally rocking it, but I don't feel like I am. And I know that distance learning is the ideal for everybody, but hearing feedback such as like, oh, this is not enough work, and then also getting feedback from someone else saying like, this is too much, and then having students log in and others like, I can't reach them. It's just very overwhelming because I don't know how to fix it. I don't even think I can fix it. I don't think and it's not even in my control, but I still feel like I'm being blamed for that. Does that make sense? I don't know, but yeah, like I said, I wish I could say distance learning was going great, but the reality of it is that I don't think it is. So I'm trying my best, but I don't think my best is enough, unfortunately. Next question is, have you ever felt undermined for being a young teacher? I think so. Like, I feel like sometimes parents look at me and they see that I'm young, so they ask like, oh, how many years have you been teaching? And when I say like, oh, this is my 4th year, they kind of back off, but you know, like they have that preconception that I'm young and they think I probably won't be any good. I've also been asked at my current school if it's my 1st year teaching multiple times, and I don't know why. I'd like to think that it's because I look young. Maybe they think I just graduated, but yeah, I've been asked a handful of times by many different people if this is my 1st year teaching. How do you keep track of data? So traditionally, I have a data binder. I keep graphs for every student, for reading, for math, for sight words, for all these different things. It's super organized and it's awesome. But for distance learning, I haven't figured it out. So I'm gonna answer one more question for today's Q&A. There are still so many questions left, so I will definitely make a part 2, but this last question is, what is your schedule like? So we log on at 8:35 in the morning and we go all the way until 9:45, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Yeah, so Monday through Friday. Then on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday from 9:45 to 10:45, I have small groups in 15-minute intervals, and then Thursday they have specials from 9:45 all the way to 11:45. It's a long day. Fridays they also have specials from 9:45 to 10:45. So after specials or small groups, they have independent work time where they complete their assignments for the morning, and then they come back at 12:30 and we do an hour for math. And so from 12:30 to 1:30 we have math, and that's also Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday. For Thursday, they do come back at 12:30 and they don't log off until 2:30 because they have specials. And these are the times that we're all on Zoom. And then they have an hour, so from 1:30 to 2:30 to complete their afternoon work, so any math assignments and stuff like that. And then we log back in at 2:30, and then from 2:30 to 2:45, we kind of have like it's more like, it was supposed to be like a social studies / science, a little tiny block, but it has turned more into a check-in because I lose so many kids by that time. And that's my schedule. Don't have a lot of wiggle room with that. We kind of have to match what the bell schedule would be like if we were at school. But yeah, my kids are so tired by the end of it. It's so much screen time and for long periods of time. So that is it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And if you did, please give this video a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.